Hello, and welcome to the Boca Raton Legislative Online Onboarding Training. My name is Danielle Kaufman, and I am the Graduate Assistant for Student Government. In this training, we will be going over the bills, resolutions, constitution, statutes, House of Representative member expectations, committee meetings, House meetings, and many other things. Let's get started. Alright, now we're looking at the Student Government Organizational Chart. There are 4 branches of student government: the executive branch, legislative branch, judicial branch, and the elections board. So the executive branch is composed of the president, vice president, and their administrative cabinet, which work on university projects. Next, we have the governors. There are 3 governors, 1 from each campus, and again, their administrative cabinet. They work on campus-issued projects. Under the governor, there are many student government programs. These are the programs on the Boca Raton campus, but there are many similar programs on other campuses. So we have multicultural programming, COSA, which is clubs and organizations, SAVI, which is students volunteering, program board, which they put on homecoming and freakers ball, PET, which is peer education team, and night owls. Some of these programs are only on the Boca Raton campus, but they serve the university as a whole. Next, we have the legislative branch. So, we have the senators and the House of Representative members that are the big composition of this, but then also there's leaders of this. So let's take a look. First off, we have the president of the Senate, who happens to be the vice president of the student body. He or she is over the senators. There are 9 senators total, but 3 from each campus because they work on university projects. Next, we have the Speaker of the House. There are 3 speakers, 1 from each campus, 1 in Boca, 1 in Broward, and 1 in Jupiter. They are in control of the House of Representatives. So there are 3 houses, just like there are 3 speakers. Each house contains different numbers due to the population that attends that campus. So for the year 2016, the Boca Raton campus should have 61 members, Broward House should have 8 members, and Jupiter House should have 6 members. Again, the number fluctuates year to year. We'll be going in depth about the House of Representatives and the expectations and what they actually do in the House. Next, we have the judicial branch. There is the Chief Justice and the 3 Associate Justices, 1 from each campus. They deal with student conduct, statutes, and constitutional revisions. Next, we have the Elections Board. The Elections Board is composed of many people: the Elections Commissioner and the Elections Chairs, 1 from each campus again. There are 2 elections, 1 in fall that deals with the House of Representatives being elected and the senators being elected. But then we also have the spring election, which is where the president, vice president, and governors are elected. Alright, as you just learned, there are 4 branches. Each branch is governed by the Constitution and by statutes. So the Constitution is an overguiding rules and regulations for all of the campuses of the student government. So for Jupiter, Broward, and the Boca Raton, they have to follow everything that is stated in the student government Constitution. If anything is wanted to be changed in the Constitution, it only can happen every 3 years during a Constitutional Review Committee, and that cannot be changed throughout the semesters using a bill or anything like that. Alright, now going in depth to the student government statutes, each one is broken down into different sections. If you look at these statutes online, some of them range from 15 pages to 50 pages. So definitely take a look at these. Highlighting 400s, which is the legislative branch, that's something we'll be talking about during training. And since the Boca Raton legislation training, we'll be looking at the 700s as well. But if you were from other campuses like the Broward and MacArthur, which is also called the Jupiter, take a look at those. All of the statutes differ because they can be changed with bills in the House of Representatives. So definitely take a look, see what the differences are, see how your campus is governed, and we'll go from that point. I bet you're wondering, okay, so I learned about statutes, Constitution, and I learned about the hierarchy. So where does that leave me? So, perfect slide for you. This is all about the expectations of what a House Representative does throughout the semester. You need to attend committee and House meetings. We'll talk about those more a little later. Put effort into help your committee with tasks. So don't just sit there during committee meetings. Reach out to your committee chair, see how you can help. Be an active member in creative legislation, bills, and resolutions. Don't expect everyone else to be writing bills. You should be writing bills. We'll have always bill training workshops in the beginning and the middle of the semester, so take advantage of those and learn how to write a bill or a resolution so you can be an active member in legislative writing. Be professional in appearance and conversation. So as you can see to our right, we have a great picture of what a House of Representatives member should look. So you should wear your student government polo in either khaki or slacks, or you could be more dressed up and wear a blazer and a tie. Both of those are appropriate. You can also wear jeans, but we prefer you be more professional in wearing slacks, khakis, polos, or blazers. As well, you are always representing the interests of all the students at FAU. Say, for example, that you are part of the Greek community. Don't only represent the Greeks, because that's only a 2 population of the FAU community. You're representing all students. And make sure you always take in their account whenever making decisions. Now this is a public notice. All meetings are required to have a public notice posted 48 hours beforehand on the bulletin board in the student involvement lobby. As well, they need to be posted in the binder behind the main desk in the student involvement lobby. All meetings, ad hoc meetings, committee meetings, and house meetings are required to have a public notice posted 48 hours beforehand. Without a public notice, no meeting can occur. A part of your expectations is to attend your house meetings and your committee meetings. House meetings are Fridays at 3:30 and ends by 5, but we say 5:30 just in case they go over. Robert's rules are always used. If you don't know what Robert's rules are, they provide the rules in governing key matters of how to run a meeting and the general procedures. So how to vote, what quorum is, how do you set your agenda, things like that. Robert's rules are always used unless the parliamentary suspends the rules temporarily. As well, you're going to sit where your plaque is placed. So everyone has a plaque, and do not sit where your plaque is not placed. Boca Raton House meetings are in the House chambers located in the Student Union Conference Center. You will see the House chambers sign, and that's where we start our meetings. Besides attending House meetings, you will also be attending committee meetings. There are 3 committees: Campus Action, Ways and Means, Rules and Policy. Campus Action meets at 12 p.m. in the Student Government Conference Room. They work to hear, consider, and advocate student concerns on behalf of the students at the Boca Raton campus. The Ways and Means Committee meets at 1 p.m. They ensure the sound expenditure of activity and service fees allocated to the accounts of the Boca Raton campus. So they make sure money is being well spent under the guidelines of the ANS policies. And finally, we have the Rules and Policies Committee. They meet at 2 p.m. They ensure that all programs and legislation adheres to the SG Constitution statutes and other pertinent rules and regulations. So definitely find a committee that you enjoy, join it. Every semester, you will have to join one. It does not have to be the same committee for the entire year though. So in fall you can be part of Campus Action, in spring you can be a part of Ways and Means. This is the Student Government Conference Room. This is the room where all the meetings will be held. It's located in the Student Union. In the Student Involvement Suite, you'll see signs for it. This room is also to be used for committee chairs to have their COC meetings, and as well you can reserve this room for any other reasons, especially ad hoc committees, at the front desk of the Student Union in the reservation book. I bet you're wondering, where can I work on all this legislation and projects? Great question. You can work in the legislative work area. This entire work area is dedicated for the House members to work on projects. As well, all the computers print to that printer, as you can see, but they can only be used for student government printing, not homework. As well, if you ever need me, my office is in that little cubicle to the right. And as you can see through that door in the back, that is the Student Government Conference Room. This room is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's when the office hours are. But sometimes there are late nights and there will be students in there if you'd like to go in. So now we are going to discuss bills and resolutions. What are they? So, Bills and resolutions are two different types of legislation that you'll be writing as a member in the House of Representatives. This is a basic outline to what a bill and a resolution should look like. It should have the headers, so Florida Atlantic University, Student Government, whatever house you're a part of, so Boca Raton, Jupiter, Broward, 10th legislative session, whatever number bill it is, so Boca Raton House bill or resolution, so HB or HR, the number, the author, sponsors, starting out with whereas, therefore be resolved, therefore be further resolved. As well, if you are creating a bill with a budget, you need to have attached with it and outlined in the bill to justify it. So now going into detail what a bill actually contains. A bill refers to any legislation that creates or abolishes student programs, creates budgets or deals with budget allocation, approves funding, affects the internal aspects of student government, the university as a whole, or marks a change in internal structure of student government and not prohibited by the Constitution of Student Government of Florida Atlantic University. So, in a quick terminology, bills are how law statutes are made and things are put into action. Bills actually make things happen, such as allocating funds and passing statutes. So as we can see, they have the header, Florida Atlantic University, Student Government, Boca Raton House of Representatives, 10th Legislative Session. And then they have the title, Boca Raton House Bill 1539, and then the continuation of the title, Library Pizza During Finals Week. There are authors, sponsors. It starts out with whereas, and then therefore it will be further resolved, and then it will continue on with the other point, therefore it will further be resolved. And as well, at the end, since it does include money, she did have to include a quote in this bill to be presented to the House. Continuing on, now we're talking about a resolution. According to the 400 statutes, resolutions pertain to vacancy nominations, commendations, support, endorsements of statements of opinion to the university, community, or state affairs. Simple resolutions are matters that the Student Senate considers. Joint resolutions are matters that the Student Senate and various campus House representatives consider. So as you can see, in this resolution, they were opposing the 2015 Safe Campus Act. There were authors, there were sponsors, they started out with whereas, and they continued on with the following statements. Therefore it will be resolved, and therefore it will further be resolved. After a piece of legislation has been passed by the House, it does not automatically get passed. It has to go through a legislation signature sheet where the campus governor, student body president, vice president for student affairs, and the chief justice have to sign. If, during this process, one of the signature people are vetoing the bill, then it will get sent back to the House and then re-voted on and then re-signed by the vice president for student affairs.